Hello, everybody. And you say I'm smiling. I'm smiling because we did not give up. We fought until the end. We gave it the good fight, and we had a chance. There's a lot of things you have to overcome. This is great experience for a guy like Baker Mayfield, and he'll remember that last drive at the end of the game all during the offseason, and it's going to make him a better quarterback. Welcome to the Browns post-game show, the last one of the season, as the Browns lose to the Ravens in a game in which the Ravens could have just as easily lost, folks. Final score 26-24. If you want to be part of the program, you can jump in. I've made it easy for you, or at least as easy as I can. You can go to mooheadradio.com, go to look at the chat wing that's on there, and just take a look and click on the link. That's one way it could work. Or you can come on over where we are right now, which is right over at the on YouTube, and you can, it's right there up there as well. And I will put it in again right now because that's just the kind of cow I am. That's the link if you want to get on the show. What an exciting football game. And I'm right with you, Mogambi. You can't feel bad about that one. I wish they would have won, but I like what I see. So do I. And I know that, and there's hello to, I got to say hello to all the people who are in the chat room. This is the last post-game show of the season. So, hi to Brittany, hi to Mr. X. Can Ken make it? Brian H., Mike Smith, my goodness, Roxanne Dolls, hi everyone, Bronk UK, Mike Smith, all you guys are the reason that I do this program. I don't get any compensation for this, and Baker looks sad, he looks upset. He's going to carry this with him. It's going to make him a better player. That's the way it works. Big Lurker UK, how's it going, buddy? He's been with me for years. John Doe, we need a kicker. We need a kicker that won't drive us crazy. Yeah, God almighty. It's just, and that's really when you have to strategize at the end of a football game because you don't have a kicker, and it's like I said, I was talking to my wife during the game. I said, there's no way that Baker is going to let a field goal settle this game. He is going to continue throwing the ball downfield. There's no faith in that kicker, and he's not coming back next year. He can go with Greg Williams, and they can vacation together in Bimini. Or maybe one of those 11 jobs will call Greg Williams, and he
Steelers are going to hate us even more now.
Fuck the Steelers. Nothing was about the Steelers in the first place. They barely beat Cincinnati at home. They can blow me.
Fucking game and made me really happy.
Yeah, hey, Baker did get that record though. So
he did get
one
the
positive thing.
It is a positive thing. I mean, this guy missed the first 3 games of the season, and he still broke a rookie NFL quarterback record for touchdowns thrown. What can you say? Jake Miller says it's an optimistic offseason, so that's a positive. It's the first time we can say that in a long time, Jake. And Chubb lost his 1,000 yards, but this is what makes young players hungry, and that's right. Ron Shane Dorsey's job now starts back up again because now we have to hire a head coach. And something, I'm not saying that in the end that Greg Williams cost us this football game, but he really looked overmatched. He looked in the critical moment, he didn't know whether to call a timeout, whether to challenge a play. Instead, he ends up calling a timeout and not challenging a play. This is the type of thing that, again, and I think maybe now people will believe me that when he called the timeout, a week or two ago, and second-guessed himself, it's because he's uncertain. It's not all the excuses. What is that horrible noise?
Bronk.
Jesus, what in the fuck is?
He's
Jesus
probably
Christ! Sounds like somebody's trying to drink a Slurpee with a hose. God damn! Hi, Hammer. I see Hammer there, and there's Derek, and there's Brian, and there's Bronk, and there's Brittany. So we got a group in here. Steven doesn't come here anymore, but then his Viagra prescription ran out, so he doesn't come anywhere anymore. What can I tell you? Not my problem. Not my problem.
Right. Hey, there's Rick.
And there's Rick joining
he's probably,
us.
he's probably wrecking the
hey Rick, how
Houston
you doing?
sewer system right about now.
You picked a fine time to pick the Ravens there, Brian, I tell you.
And there is nothing.
Well, he had to be right at some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I mean, oh, ye of little faith. I think the Browns played a really good football game as far as staying in it in the second half of the game. That first play in the second half got us going. And look, we had the ball in our hands to win the football game at the end. And I will put the ball in Baker Mayfield's hands 10 out of 10 times. I love what this kid does. I love his mock he brings to the game. You'll never hear me say anything bad about that. Anybody who watched the Green Bay Packers play Deshaun Kaiser for 4 quarters today will understand precisely what I was saying last year about a guy who does not have any tangible skills. Austin Negre is saying Mayfield should have made that pass to Landry. There's no question he threw the ball behind him. If that ball leads Landry, we have a first down in that situation, and the vice grip tightens. But you know something? If we have to kick a field goal to win that game, Greg Joseph won't make the kick. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Mario Loomis
I thought Jarvis was trying to get fancy catching it one hand, trying to play hero ball, but after I seen that replay, I seen, it was behind, but yeah, it was
like a full yard behind him.
Yeah.
And Mario Lewis is saying Ravens is the best. No, Ravens are the best. First of all, linguistically, you're lacking, Mario. And second of all, you're not the best anything, really, because you barely beat a team that was 0-16 last year with a rookie quarterback in the most important game of the year on your home field. That game's in Cleveland. You lose. Do you understand? You lose. And you're going to lose next year because Harbaugh's now coming back for the next 10 years, and you're fucked. You're totally fucked. And if you think the league is going to fall for this high school running quarterback shit next year, the whole league's going to figure out Lamar Jackson. He'd better learn how to throw to more than just his tight end. You dig, buddy?
He won't have an ACL by October, man. His ACL will be gone.
Look, I'm happy for Ravens fans. You're in the playoffs. Nobody thought that was going to happen. I think that's wonderful. I don't want to dish you, but don't come in here saying you're the best, because you're the best nothing, okay? You're a team who happened to make it into the playoffs, and you backdoored your way in. Congratulations. And
that's a heck of a clutch play, though, by that defensive lineman who got that tip and the interception, though.
Now, this is interesting. We have a guy, JC, in the chat room saying, you losed. I mean, what is it? What is it about Ravens fans here?
English.
Are we talking about functional illiterates? Functional illiterates.
It's the STD capital of the world. So
hey, Tony the Caps here. We go Vikings.
I'm wearing the mask of shame.
Here's what I know. Don't worry, Tony. We'll get to you in a minute. Believe me. But the thing is, with guys our size, Tony, what is all this background chatter? Where is this all coming from?
It's Tony's channel.
Oh my God, Tony! Guys our size, it takes weeks.
Steven's finally done stopping up his toilet.
Well, Tony, keep it down. All right.
I think it's my background.
I'm going to have to police.
That would be why.
I'm going to police this now. I got to police this because no, stop it, or I'm going to throw you out of the show. We're not talking over one another. All right,
we beat you to it.
You guys are going to get thrown out of here. I got a post-game show to do. Please don't do this. Okay, this is okay. Yeah, good, because I don't need that. I mean, he's a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I told him that fucking Kirk Cousins wasn't going to lead him. The only promised land that he was going to lead him to was the goddamn toilet bowl, where he's going to take a big shit at the end of the season. I mean, Jesus, listen to me.
Most overpaid quarterback in the league.
Damn. You're paid.
No. The most overpaid
There's
quarterback.
No question about it. He's
the jackass Bradford.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that there's probably truth to that, too.
But if you look at expectations...
All right. So JC is boy, I'll tell you, you know what he needs really badly? Yeah, and I hate to say this, JC. I hate to say this, but what you need is just to go back to your pedophilic ways and go back to your little boyfriend. Okay, just kind of go back. That's what you do in Baltimore. You can sit there on the wharf. You can talk about Levinson movies, but you wouldn't talk about Levinson movies because you're a functional illiterate. All right. Icy is saying Dirk Cotter just got fired. Wasn't that a TV show? Wasn't he a teacher?
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah. Asa Whitaker is saying Baker didn't even play like a rookie. That's a hyperbolic claim, also known as wishful thinking. He doesn't play like a rookie. He's got composure. He played a team that was the best defensive team in football, and he almost brought us over the edge. And yep. And look, if you want to complain about Baker Mayfield, it's fine. It's your right. If you want to, that's not the way I feel about it at all. Michael Killey, most fun I've had watching the Browns since 2007. That's the bottom line, Michael, isn't it? That we have something to look forward to. And I said that at halftime, even though I was not happy with the way the game plan was, and to take Chubb out of the game basically, and to allow them to control clock while we were running hurry up offense in the first half. I can't help but think that I care now. I'm motivated by it. And in the past, I was just come on here and just be a smart ass because we were so bad. And it's like, what new way could I jump in and insult this team? But I'm proud of this team. They really made improvements and strides this year. And I think this is the perfect way for the season to end because they know how much more they've got to work toward. And
Dorsey's got a heck of an offseason coming because he's got a lot of important decisions to make for this team's future.
Yeah. Now, Nathan Palaki says, how about those Ravens? And with all this high-flying offense shit, that #1 defense sure looks good. Nathan, I think your defense is good. I think that Harbaugh saved his job by instituting a gadget, gimmicky offense. And to be honest with you, it will be figured out. Yeah. As a Browns fan, I'm thrilled that Harbaugh is staying. I know a lot of Ravens fans who think that Harbaugh is lacking in strategic capabilities. I would love for Marvin Lewis to stay in Cincy, although that's not going to happen. But maybe Hugh will take over, and that would make me very happy too. Honestly, I don't think that Harbaugh is a good coach, but I think they backdoored their way in. But I'm telling you, it's no different than Marty Schottenheimer. We saw this in Cleveland back in the 80s so many times. He's a defense-first guy who's going to rely on his defense to win games. Last year it didn't. This year it did. Congratulations to the Ravens. I will never say anything bad. All right. Who is a better coach out there than – you mean Greg Williams or Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's of course. I mean Harbaugh has Super Bowl. I mean, and Greg Williams has 11 job offers. I mean, but that's not a sensible question. But if you're asking me who's a better coach out there in general, there are many better coaches than John Harbaugh. But I'm happy he's staying. Nathan's saying on the market, McCarthy he's mentioning. Well, I look, there are a lot of people who are going to start flinching at names in the good old boy club, but quite honestly, McCarthy would have known. McCarthy would have known to take a timeout and to challenge a call or what to do. All right.
Well, I'll tell you this: what I seen last night from Lincoln Riley in the Oklahoma-Alabama game did not make me trust him as a head coach.
Yeah. It's because he has fifth graders.
But look, no, I mean...
Well, he's an offensive mind.
I mean, look, I think Lincoln Riley is smart to stay at Oklahoma. He can become the next, Saban, and I think that's fine. He's going to be a hero in his home territory, and he can grow old there and make a ton of money. It's wonderful. All right.
I think Greg Williams is going to coach next year, and they're going to have Freddie Kitchens in the waiting. That's how I see this happening. And it might be too soon, but...
Well, as far as I'm concerned, As far as I'm concerned, you Hello?
Yeah, you're there.
Oh, I was saying, as far as I'm concerned, you fuckers can have Mike Zimmer.
I'm sorry? Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? It's Bill Masterson.
Oh, no, we don't want that. I mean, you know, believe me, there's a lot of bad coaches. I watched Pat Shermer. Why is it No, we're not doing this again. This is not the Tony the Calf After Dark show. This is Moohead Radio post-game show. So stop. Thank you. All right? We're trying to be at least communicative, not communicable. Okay. Good God. There are a lot of bad coaches out there, folks. I mean, I watched Shermer lose again. How did Shermer lose that game? How did he lose to the Cowboys? I'm sitting there going, it was like they kept taking the lead and giving it back. And it's like there are a lot of bad coaches out there. So congratulations to your Texans, Stephen. That's great. You're in the playoffs. That's a wonderful feeling. Yep. We haven't felt that a long time in Cleveland. I'm sorry to Tony. I am very sorry that the Vikings did not make it. You know, and, you know, it's not that I revel in anybody's frustration because that's not the point of all this. You know, but, you know, there are going to be gloating fans who come in here and look, and I'm happy for the Ravens. Oh, Gruden's horrible, deplorable, and horrible. You know,
and he has that old school mindset. He thinks he's going to be able to find those players.
That's fine. I mean, you're a fan. Yeah. Now, DC Gaming is saying McCarthy is not innovative and runs the same seven plays over and over and has underachieved most years. You know, I would say that you could say the same thing about Andy Reid. I would put them record-wise very much on the same footing. You know, I don't know that there is any great head coach hire until the guy becomes a really good head coach. But I'm telling you, we're way ahead of the game with Baker Mayfield. He's going to make a lot of coaches look good. He fooled enough people who were in this chat room into thinking Greg Williams was the head coach in the NFL. So,
okay, you know, the final draft order just came in, and we got the 17th pick.
You know, look, this isn't great. I mean, it isn't that we're going to get an absolute guaranteed stud, but think of what
it's a heavy defensive draft, though, so you still could find a diamond in the rough with that later pick. So,
yeah. And look, there are a lot of people who are going to want to play with Baker Mayfield. You know, I wanted to say this about Brashad Perryman because, you know, people are saying, well, this guy's not so bad. They're a big write-up on him on Cleveland.com. His history, I looked up his history where he played college football, and he dropped passes in bunches in college, not just in Baltimore. So, you know, I wouldn't be so sure that that's the way we want to go and staying with guys like Perriman. Callaway actually had a few good kick returns. I was surprised today, and he has made some strides. The first interception that was thrown by Mayfield was a defensive holding in which he was grabbed by the shoulder pads and pushed backwards. He couldn't get back in front of the defender. That was just another one of those plays that was missed. The final interceptions on Baker and the other one was on Baker as well because he threw to a man who was double covered. So, you know, if you're looking for assessment of the interceptions, that's that.
But as a Browns fan, you got to be happy with the production that Baker got this year.
Oh, I mean, how could you not be? I mean, my goodness. I mean, you know, we drafted him number one, and he is the best quarterback. And, you know, I don't think there's any question. Nobody comes close to what he's achieved in his rookie year this season for any other team who has a yeah, and Austin, I agree with you. Keep Kitchens, and we need a new head coach, and you know we'll see where that goes. And I don't boot anybody from a chat room because I believe anybody has the right to say what they want, and if Ravens fans want to be happy, they can be happy. The problem is that you should celebrate, not just diss on people. but that's the way I look at that.
One question for you, Mark.
Yes.
Do you give Freddie Kitchens the head coaching job?
No, he's not ready for that yet, but I think he should be in the running for.
You got to think somebody's going to take a serious look at him as a head coach, based on what he did.
I don't think yet.
Offense.
That's why I see him sitting behind Greg Williams one more year as the coach in waiting kind of situation.
Now Asa Whitaker is saying, I don't like the last 4 play calls. Not one streak or fly taking the roof out of the defense. Again, I don't mind him using the middle of the field, but I think that, again, you're throwing an out pattern, it's got to be precise. And he did not throw an accurate pass in that situation. And there was coverage. They were running blitzes right up the gut against him, forcing him to get rid of the ball quickly. The play calling at the end of the game, you're limited in what you can do because you're not going to run the football and you have to throw, and they're going to be coming at you with the kitchen sink. And the fact is that he is a young quarterback. So this is a learning experience. Noah Martin is saying Baker's going to be all right. He's got a bright future, no doubt. I'm trying to keep up with the chat room. Freddie was a running back coach a few weeks ago. No way he's a head coach. I agree with that. Wonder what Coward will say tomorrow. He won't be able to say anything with somebody's dick in his mouth. What do I care what Colin Coward would say about anything? Wable Brown, I'm thinking Aryans. That's what they would say in Idaho. They're always into the Aryans nation out there. DC Gaming, Dorsey will make some trades. You got to keep up with me, folks. Dorsey will make some trades and use some draft capital to move back up in the top 10 if there is someone that he likes. Yeah, that's a good point, DC Gaming. We have 17, but that doesn't mean it's static. In the world of a wheeler-dealer horse trader who's experienced, that can be, and I trust Dorsey's judgment based on who he drafted this year.
Now, the ultimate question I have with the team, and to piggyback back off that guy's comment, how many more young guys do they really need? I mean, are they at the spot where it's maybe time to spend a good 90% of that salary cap that they have to improve the
We got to
team?
go after number 1 receiver.
I mean, you guys are not at, you guys are not at total rebuild here. You've got the foundation in place. It's now you have to bring in supporting talent. And I don't know
it's
if
about filling the holes.
Exactly that.
Receiver or offensive lineman.
Or linebacker.
Moo, wouldn't you say that in the past,
definitely linebacker.
Moo, wouldn't you say in the past the issue was even though we had the salary cap money, people wouldn't come here? Now they will.
Yeah, they're coming here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Well, receivers will definitely come here. And I'm a little bit concerned here because my signal, for some reason, is low.
There's a big lag.
I'm not getting a good internet
delay.
signal here, and that unfortunately should not.
It must be on your end.
Yeah, it's weird because we'll talk. Like you'll talk, and we'll talk, and then you're still talking.
Yeah, and I'm not real thrilled with it. And there's nothing I can do. It is on my end.
Do you think maybe it's perhaps the full house on here, but full panel?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Are there people on the way of the connection again, like Friday?
Or else I'm going to lose. I don't think, but I mean, because I don't know what to tell you. I'm really kind of surprised because I've got this thing set up, and and I was at a full 5 bars on this thing when the show began, and now all of a sudden I'm just kicked down to about
it's
nothing
really weird
unless somebody else is utilizing this.
It's like you're
maybe I can do this. Hold on a moment, please.
So we can't even hear him now.
It's because the sock's not there.
The lucky
That's
sock.
the cleaners.
Now he's not even. Yeah, we can't hear him.
He muted us.
I don't think it's...
what I've
there
done,
he is.
No, I've told everybody that to turn off their phones here and turn off devices. Yeah.
Too many connections on the Wi-Fi.
Uh-oh.
Now we're really in trouble.
The moon is down once again.
Yeah, well, he's got a really good connection down there in Florida. I think it's just that.
The black cow of death.
There he is.
Hey,
and I'm having trouble hearing people here too.
Moohead's back.
Yeah,
I think we need to start a
everything that
GoFundMe
you
for the
guys
show.
are saying is breaking up. No. I mean, I had to get rid of one internet service, and unfortunately, this one is not performing particularly. Not doing very well, and there's no reason for it. If I could change this, I would, but unfortunately, I'm looking, and if I disconnect, wait a minute,
what was that?
What is going on here? I'm connected.
Brian just left.
To that.
What?
Brian's still here.
Somebody just dropped off. Was it
Steven?
Steven just left.
Steven.
I want to see
God.
There we go.
There
we go. That's going to change everything. I don't know what happened here. Whatever happened here, really peculiar. Is this better now?
Yeah.
Better.
Sounds better.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
That was the number one key because we were talking and it was just lagging so much to where you'd still be talking.
Yeah. See, what happened was it switched over to another network, and that network doesn't even exist anymore.
How the fuck did it connect to it?
How do we stay on the air?
I don't know. I've seen strange things in my life, but that one takes the cake.
Welcome to Moohead Pirate Radio.
I know.
Now.
God, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like I was just riding on my neighbor's Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah.
Amsterdam, you better watch yourself there, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Well, this will
Not
make
to
a
be
big
confused with riding on your neighbor's wife. That's a totally different thing.
This is awesome. I'm glad that this is at least working now. So I'm a happy camper. Yeah, I can take a look at the stats of this game, and 3 interceptions will kill you on the road. We know this. It doesn't really take any great knowledge to come up with that. But at the same time, it was such a great effort and a great season with Baker that let's go ahead and take a look at the box score or the.
Well, Steelers fans can't be upset because we did what we could to get back and try to win this game. So.
They still have a chance.
Oh, Juju.
Yeah.
Stuff something up.
Steelers can make the playoffs if there's a tie tonight in the Sunday night football.
And if they're upset, it's all Juju's fault. And AB was out too, so Connor, I think, right?
Don't tie the Browns in week 1. Don't fucking do all this. It's the same excuses my team can make. Don't lose this game. Fucking show up and play this game.
So here's another thing I can tell you. When you rush for 50 yards an entire game, you're not going to win that game either. And where this strategy came from, I just feel like we're just spinning the big wheel and we're just taking crazy chances, and I'm not real happy with that at all. You can't win that way. Meanwhile, they rushed, for 296 yards, which is all the reason why Greg Williams can't even be a defensive coordinator for this team, let alone anything else. Yeah. But Lamar Jackson, again, I'm not going to say anything bad about Lamar Jackson. Congratulations to the young man. They led the team in the best way he knows how. 179 yards, 14 of 24. There's nothing exciting. He had an 81 rating.
He's a very one-dimensional quarterback, though.
He's going to have to develop extremely, totally 360 in the development of arm throw, because he's going to be in a position next year where teams are going to, in the offseason, going to find ways to find out how to defend his run game, with the option. You've seen him reading the outside ends, the corners. So teams are going to see that and learn how to defend him more and more. So next year, you're going to see him having to throw the ball more, and that's going to slowly start the end.
if he doesn't get hurt first, I mean, that's,
He's Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is what he is.
Yeah.
Well,
DC
pre-knee explosion, but
no, DC Gaming saying we got behind early, so we had to abandon the run. But something, we started out the game running the ball effectively with Chubb, and then he stopped getting the ball, period, after that first interception. And I agree with the defense didn't do a good job, but we didn't have a balanced game plan. B Lane is saying, there we go with the Lamar hate. What is it with Ravens fans? What did I say?
Lamar's RG3. That's what he's going to be.
What I'm telling you, Mr. Lane, is that he's a young quarterback who's exceptionally athletic, extremely fast and agile, which makes him a running back. He can throw to his tight end and primary receiver. I saw no signs that he could buy time in the pocket and go through progressions. I saw none of that, and they're keeping.
And that's why in the upcoming leading parts of the draft, teams were trying to get him to try out at wide receiver because they didn't think he was going to be able to last long, as a quarterback.
And what I want to point out is, and this is not bitterness to the Ravens fans who are out there. This game plan has been employed by so many teams, and it doesn't work for long because quarterbacks are people you want to protect, not expose. And it is awesome that he has that athletic talent. It's exciting to watch. The guy cuts up the field, and it's a remarkable thing to watch. But at the same time, he is really not going to last if he takes a direct hit. It has stalled other people's careers this way. He needs to develop as a throwing quarterback to survive in the NFL. I'm not saying he can't do it.
Braxton Miller in college.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he can't do it. I'm simply saying that he has to prove that he can. Baker Mayfield is already NFL ready. Lamar Jackson is right now part of a gimmick offense at the end of a season that teams haven't prepared for. And that's going to start going away, believe me. Michael Gradowski saying, hold on, I'm happy they have Lamar going forward better for the Browns for the years to come. I don't want to put a ceiling on the young man. I don't want to do that. I think that Ravens fans would never have been in this position had Flacco stayed. But, again, there's things that have to be developed. Toby.
He froze. Anyway, I was going to say real quick, the reason why – oh, there we go. He's back. Never mind.
All right. Ohio Biker saying, you in a hospital bed, Moo? No, this is my bedroom. And the reason is I had a knee replacement. Thank you for asking. I'm week 3 and a knee replacement. And I tried doing the show last week sitting down, and when I bent the knee, it was not worth it. The knee swells up in that position. This just allows me to stretch my legs out. No, I'm not infirmed or I'm not like on my deathbed.
We work around you.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, do you see the Lamar Jackson thing working out against the Chargers in the wildcard game next week?
It could. I mean, look, this is...
It worked out last week when they beat them in L.A.
Yeah. My feeling is this. What they're doing so well is not just Lamar Jackson running the football, but I mean their entire running game. The theory that they can run on any down and they're getting chunk plays on ground games, it has been consistent in the last 7 games that they've played. This is not luck. What this is something that people are going to have to really start defending and figuring out how to stop it. And I don't think anybody really had the Ravens on the radar as far as being a playoff team, and now they are. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Baltimore SK, welcome to the show. Ravens can beat anybody. And that was true of Ray Lewis, too. With a knife in his hand, he could stab anybody, too. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Wable's reporting that Mary Kay Cabot is saying Greg Williams is out.
Yeah, and that has to happen. I want to go back to Baltimore SK. you know, anyone could beat anyone. And I'm going to say what I always say, and it'll make you feel good, Baltimore SK. The first job is to get into the playoffs. Okay, that's the first job.
Where you put the knife down.
You know, you got to get there, and we're not there. You're there, so you can beat anybody.
And hey, Mr. Moohead.
Wait, Mr. Lane is saying you lost me with that one. Good luck next year, and good luck to you, Mr. Lane, in the playoffs as well. Because I got nothing against the Ravens whatsoever, and if they can continue to do what they're doing, they're going to upset and shock somebody. I don't think they're going to go deep, but they could easily beat the Chargers. The Chargers did not have an answer for their defense the last time they played. So,
and they're hosting as well.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a big opportunity, but I can't help but think that the Ravens kind of backed into this. They dodged a bullet. They could have had it handed to them in the end, and that option play that they ran on third down could have resulted in a fumble that went the other way. I just want to point out that play call at that moment was an extremely questionable call, and that the fact that your tight end, first of all, you're pitching low to a tight end, not to a running back, is unusual. And the fact that it was a play that went backwards was unusual, and that you were letting the ball fly around and hit the ground going backwards when there were 3 white jerseys and 1 Raven there. You were fortunate in that situation. That could have been the kiss of death. So,
well, they got lucky with the call of Jabril Peppers when they blew that play dead early, when Jabril could have ran that all the way from the other side.
And you know, and I got to be honest, Lamar Jackson hot dogged it. And you know, again, I saw that little catching the ball with one hand out of the shotgun. And it's great that a young man has some swag, but he pulled that ball back because he was just being showy. And that should have been a touchdown going the other way for the Browns. So, I mean, there's so many things that could have happened at the end of that first half. It could have been 27-7 ball game, and it would have been over. It could have been 20-14 twice because the Browns dropped an easy pass that Landry would have scored on. And also, we should have.
Yeah, it's a good thing he got that back, because there's no way we would have forgave him if he didn't.
Yeah, and then, you know, that should have been a 97 or whatever, 93-yard return, or 97-yard return for a touchdown that would have made that game, put in perspective, 20-14 at the half, and the Baker 53-yard touchdown post pass would have put the Browns ahead 21-20. So there are so many things you can go back into the what if hot tub time machine, and you know, but this is how it played out, and I think the better team won. And I'm prepared to say that because we're just not ready for prime time yet, but we're getting there real fast.
Speaking of what ifs,
yes.
Do you think the play calling on that final drive is different? Had they had a kicker they could trust? Yes,
I really do. And I think that is a point very well taken. And I think that, yeah, if you had Tucker as your kicker, you wouldn't have had a problem on the final play. Instead of trying to get it all, you know, on those final 2 plays, you would use the middle of the field and settled for 4 or 5 yard passes. And maybe you would have come up a little short, but you would have been kicking a 48-yard field goal and you would have felt good about it. But with Greg Joseph, no way.
And the commentators, they go, oh, well, do you go for it, or do you let Greg Joseph kick the 57-yard field goal? I'm going, do you know who our field goal kicker is?
Well, you saw him
me?
You saw him miss a 47-yard field goal where it just petered out in the end. So, yeah, obviously not a good situation. And
they also said that if their kicker was Tucker, then yes, you would kick the 57-yard field goal.
Yes,
but nobody else is going to. So yeah, it's.
Yeah, I don't. You know, again, having a kicker is a great thing. Right now, our roster is not fully what it's going to be. So there you have it.
Dorsey's going to have to do in this offseason. That's going to be his #1 priority.
Well, that's why the better team won, because they do have a more developed roster as it stands right now. Michael Gradowski says, agree on best team won, but next AFC North is ours. And I think that we're growing into that. Baltimore SK, watch tape on Tim Tebow, then watch what happened when the Broncos lost in the playoffs with Tebow. I will say this about Lamar Jackson. He has a low arm angle throwing the ball, and he tends to gator arm the ball. And I saw a number of passes that came up short when he was trying to put touch on the ball. He's got a lot to learn. And you're right, Baltimore SK. Baker, you live by the Baker, you die by the Baker. He is Brett Favre. He's going to throw picks, and he's going to make big plays. You live with it. With 3 interceptions, we were right there at the end of the game, and we did have the ball in our hands. So I'm going to live and die with Baker, letting him be who he is, knowing that there will be days like this. There will also be days where he brings you back from absolute disaster. What Lamar Jackson cannot do right now is put a team on his back. If the Browns had gone ahead 21-0, the Ravens could not come back and win. That's what I'm telling you. And in today's NFL, you got to be able to score quickly. And we were scoring pretty quickly without great wide receivers. Go ahead.
This game came down to – oh, I'm sorry, Steven. But let me just say this real quick. This game came down, in my opinion, I thought it was really similar to the end of the Broncos game where they had the ball, and it was almost like, you know, it's in your hands. Either you go down, you kick the field goal, or, you know, God forbid something happens, you know, like it did. The Browns got to stop on defense, and that's how it happened. It was just reversed for us this time, and unfortunately we didn't get it. But
well, I mean, when you give up 296 yards rushing, you don't deserve to win. And I look at Baker, and Baker was trying to make something happen, but he wasn't getting any help on the defensive side of the ball. Okay. So, you know, not a single turnover did the defense give him, not a single short field. They didn't stop the running game the entire game. They didn't cover the middle of the field and the tight ends, even though it's the only player that guy throws to. They didn't deserve to win the game, and Baker was trying to carry this whole load on his shoulders. We will be a better and fuller team next year when we get the opportunity to draft more players. We'll also have better special teams, and we'll have a kicker. These things are a given, and there's always people let go, kickers who have experience who will be let go, and you need to have that. It was nice to see John Gruden put up such a good fight, you know, out there in Kansas City. Just a great performance by Gruden, and you know, hopefully. And
are they going to play in London next year?
Maybe permanently if Gruden stays there. And congratulations to Deshaun Kaiser, who I just can't say less about. Yeah, it's and I know Bronk is all over Jamie Collins, and Jamie Collins is not going to be around next year. Where will the Browns draft Jake? We determined 17th. Thank you, Derek. But that was Bleacher Report. That's exactly what's going to happen. I so hope they re-sign Perryman in the offseason. I love that guy, Michael Gradowski. You don't know him yet, and the fact is that he drops passes. And he has dropped passes throughout college and his professional career. Please research this player before you make a bold, sweeping statement, because he had a 13.8% drop rate in college. The highest in the country. And he was. And
I think Baker's making him look as good as he's starting to look.
Sure.
So we'll see how that looks long term, but
yeah. You know, and again, don't be surprised what happens with Perriman, because he has a history of dropping the ball. A 13.8 college pass dropping record is horrible.
By the way, my guy Hakeem Butler had 9 catches for 192 yards and a loss.
Yeah, I mean, now again, I'm getting this, but he's had only 1 drop since being a Brown. That's a very small sample size. And remember, I can tell you people who have done very well in short sequences, but the question is to whether he will be able to keep that up. His record so far in college and in the professional ranks says no. Just pointing that out. This is the same thing I said about Greg Williams. I go by records. I don't go by little streaks. I saw Josh Tomlin, the Indians pitcher, have, you know, a 7-8 game stretch where he looked great, and then he just turned into a pumpkin. I've seen it too many times.
I'd still keep Rashad Perriman, though, because I think he's shown potential on the Browns. I mean, I know his past, but I think if you just maybe give him another year, see how he turns out. But I wouldn't just go ahead and cut him now because I think that's too much potential to leave.
Don't pay the Perryman. Bronk was Chris de Berg. Don't even fix a price till he gets you to the other side. Okay, go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, even as a third or fourth receiver, Perryman would be fine.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I would keep him. Because this whole team's full of second-tier receivers.
Go back and look at, and again, Toby, I appreciate your opinion. His college drop rate means nothing when he's doing good and showing potential. Well, what I'm saying is, if you look at all the draft information on him back in 2015, that he should have been a top 10 pick. He dropped into the lower first round for two reasons. He's not a good route runner, and he drops a lot of passes. He has tremendous straight line speed, and the tremendous straight line speed gives him field stretching capability, and that's a great thing. I would say the same thing about Travis Benjamin. People who have great field stretching capability, they have a spot in the NFL, but you got to catch the ball.
You do see Jarvis drop a lot too.
Well,
but Perriman makes a lot of the big time catches, and I think Jarvis does too. So that's the whole argument, I think, with keeping Perriman is the catches that you really need him to make in big time situations, he'll make. Now he'll drop some, but
no, but that has not been the career. The career is that he drops them in bunches, and that when you need them, he'll drop them. He goes through periods where his confidence wanes. Please go back to the 2015 draft reports on this player and understand that not only did it happen to him in college, that is why the Ravens gave up on him, because he could not hold on to the ball. I'm just pointing
everybody
out.
Deserves a second chance, though.
A third chance. Again, I'm not just going to diss the guy. I'm just going to say that you got to catch the football. And the same thing is true of Njoku. We saw him make a tremendous catch today, but he's dropped some easy passes. There is still a jury out on a lot of these players. Now, we'll see if they grow with Baker, they get used to the way he throws the ball. Maybe they'll get better. We will see.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these guys are going to get cut, but I do think that they may not be getting as much playing time if we get better players in here.
Who do you want to see us get as a tier 1 receiver? I haven't
even looked at that yet. I don't even know who all's available, but
there's people in the chat saying OBJ. That's from a while ago.
Not even possible. No.
Get the hell away from that team.
Yeah. Hell no, I wouldn't.
Well, they just paid him a big contract too, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, Morgan is.
You have to give up a lot to get that guy, and then you're stuck with that massive salary, which is going to prevent you from getting a decent linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, let the Giants go with that.
Jason,
well, and it's because Jarvis and OBJ are friends. That's the whole thing, I think.
I don't give a shit.
Hype.
The ball hit Jarvis in the head. I don't want to hear about that. Jason Arrington, we need 2 defensive tackles. Yeah, I mean, obviously our defensive line is not, but it's Greg Williams' scheme to gamble and to be pulled off by influence blocking. I told you about this, and I knew it would work against us. Jay Morgan is saying if Edelman, former quarterback, can be a decent wide receiver, I'm sure Perriman can work on his catching. Well, you would think that, but then you thought that of Ricardo Lewis too. Guys who have history of dropping balls at the college level usually do not become good receivers in the NFL. Jake Miller, I'm just looking at Perfect. Well, I'm not a fan, maybe banned due to all the concussions he's had. He had 7 and 8 years. Perfect is going to be one of those guys holding a tin cup. That's what he's going to be.
Yeah, did Ogunjobi have a concussion?
He was back on the field at the end of the game. I don't know the answer to that, but I can just tell you that he was back out on the field at the end of the game. I agree with Perf Notch. We can't forget about Christian Kirksey. That season-ending injury hurt us at linebacker. I agree, and we tend to forget about that because it happened a long time ago. But we could have used him, especially in coverage against those the tight ends that were killing us today. Every season's different. Long. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And all season long,
yeah,
that was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, the linebacking core needs help, and Jamie Collins is gone. So, I think that all pretty well says that. I want what I want to do before I get out of here is I want to be able to thank everybody. And it's been 15 years that I've been doing this, and it's been a rough 15 years because the team really hasn't been very good. And now we're finally on the cusp of becoming better. And do me a favor. If you have friends who are Browns fans, tell them about this program. I haven't done this for 15 years to shovel shit during the shit years. We got some good years ahead of us, and I think that we can become an even more lively discussion community as more people join in. And I love having people on the panel. I love the guys and gals who join me.
A lot of my friends love you, by the way.
Say what?
I said a lot of my friends love you, by the way.
Oh, well, that
makes you feel better.
That's because I diss you sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
I want to add, there's even people who follow your channel like myself who aren't even Browns fans that just enjoy your content.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fun. For me, this is fun. It keeps me in touch with what I grew up doing, except in a different way. Instead of spinning records now, and being a disc jockey on the radio and then doing radio.
Well, and you give people like me an opportunity who's trying to make it, as a sports radio or broadcast. And, I know I say this for me, this is a huge start, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunities. I know you leave it open to everybody, but when I look back, if I do have a successful career, I'm going to give you the credit for it because this is a huge start. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for that.
Well, if you have a successful career, give yourself credit for one thing. And that's what this should be. The internet should be nothing more than an open exchange of ideas and information, and anybody should be allowed to come on the program and strut their stuff. And to me, there's nothing more satisfying than opening this thing up. It makes the show so much more interesting than me just blathering on. And that's why the YouTube Live has been such a great thing too, because it enables through Hangouts to have multiple people on the air at once. It's we
just got to get like, comment, and subscribe going. We got to get them likes up, baby.
Yeah, I know. And I'm not a promoter. To be very honest with you, I do the show because I love doing it. And if I were interested in monetizing this in some way, I'd be all over it. But I have a life, and I just don't want to sit here. If somebody wants to become my public relations person and help drum up the likes and the subscriptions, great. But again, we have 1,500 people watching these shows, and we have 322 subscribers. That means there's almost 1,200 people who are not subscribing to the channel who are still know that we're on and are watching us. And there's more. With Baker playing the way he's playing and the team playing the way it plays, there's going to be more. It would not surprise me if we have 3,000 viewers at some point next year, just simply because the team is gotten better, not because the show's getting any better, but but it's because the team's getting better and they're worth watching. So, I got.
Brittany's a social media manager, Mr. Moohead. I think we might need to jump on that.
You want to jump on Brittany?
No.
What the hell?
Steven's job.
I believe that's called a radio faux pas.
No, he's actually looking at Jim's picture and wants to jump on Goofy.
As opposed to jumping
he's
on
into
Jim.
furries.
What was interesting is that Hammer's wife told him he was fucking goofy. So I don't think she meant that. No,
it's the other way around, Mo.
I had to stop watching TV and start laughing at that comment.
Got to jump on Brittany there. Yeah.
That's not what I meant.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, when do you think the Browns will start their search for the next head coach, and when do you think they will hire this next head coach, whoever it is?
It's probably started already.
It started.
I was going to say.
Do you think it'll be before the draft? Do you think it'll be after the draft?
Yes. It'll be
Coaches are always
absolutely, because you're going to
hired
want
within the
that
next
head
month.
coach to help make that decision on who you're going to pick.
And believe me, it's going to happen not that long after the first of the year. Dorsey, I'm telling you, with everything that went down this year, Dorsey was not cool with Hugh. Dorsey got himself in the seat, in the chair, got the draft done, and now he already knows his 3 candidates for head coach. He already knows this. He's an old hand. He's a veteran, and he knows. So I don't think there's any doubt. There's no doubt that he knows who he's going for. The only surprise in all of this will be whether there is license given to a new coach as far as offensive coordinator, or if Kitchens remains, and what's going to happen with the defensive coordinator position on this football team. And that will probably, I'm guessing the head coach will name his defensive coordinator, but I think Kitchens will remain. I think that will become a term that is a necessity for anybody accepting this job. And that
changes are coming.
And I think that might blow off some candidates who want that power themselves, but it's all good in the end. I got to get out of here. It's 8:37. I haven't eaten dinner, and I've given my all through knee replacement surgery when I was
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Thank you for playing hurt.
That's right. We take a bullet, and what we do is we still do what we do because I love this football team. I love the, I don't always love the organization, but this goes back to my childhood, and this is my way of giving back. And it's great to see that the team's now giving something back to the fans. That's an exciting thing. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. This has been a great football season. The 15th year is probably more fun than I've had in many, many years doing this show. And I hope next year is going to be even more so. And please, Stephen Rose and Rick and Jim and Derek and Brian and Brittany and all of you, come back next year. I hate losing people because there's always an inclusive nature in this program, and you all are as important to the show as anybody. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Are we doing a show Monday?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Monday and Friday shows will always continue, but this is the last Sunday show that we're doing.
So even through the off season, the football off season, we're going to continue to do Monday and Friday shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I didn't know. I was questioning that. So I'm happy.
That's great, and you all are invited for that too.
Hey, Mr. Mued, before you kick us off, I had some suggestions that I wanted to make to you, starting during the off season or whatever, or even during this. I know we'll still have football to talk about, so that'll go on for another month or so. Yep. But I'm wondering after that if maybe we can do like bring your own article, and then everybody can just say, hey, did you hear about the news, and then everybody can just comment on it.
Oh, show prep. I was talking to Derek about this. We call it show prep in the industry. You want to prep something, you could do me a big favor. Don't blindside me with something that I haven't had a chance to read about or know about. Send me an email. Send me an email at mooheadradio@yahoo.com.
I email you a lot, don't I?
That's right, Derek. And what you do is you just say, hey, there's something I want to bring up on the show, and this is what it is. And I will look it up, and I will at least become familiar with the topic so that I can at least speak intelligently about it. Show prep is a standard thing in all radio broadcasts, and I would urge you, bring something to the table. That shows.
I told you, tell me if I suck, and I'll try to get better.
Well, I mean,
we'll do that. Okay.
I can't help you with your oral technique. Look, I mean,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you later.
All right, everybody, I gotta go. Seriously, thanks to everybody for a really fantastic season. We'll be back tomorrow on Moohead Radio, 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. Until then,
Brownies.
Go Browns! Way to go, Baker! Great season. Congratulations on the rookie record, and we'll see you Monday.
Everyone say moo.
Moo. Happy Moo Year, and we'll see you on Monday. Hasta la vista,
baby. Let's go.
Good night.